Caitlin Clark got a little get back at Kelsey Plum.
She was taking a shot.
Could not help but to drag Caitlin Clark through the glass as she did it.
0 members of Team Clark were very present for that.
The WNBA is on a hot streak. They're finally turning.
The WNBA just witnessed a moment that's sending shockwaves across the league. And somewhere, Kelsey Plum is probably reeling because Caitlin Clark just took her apart in the most ruthless, calculated performance we've ever seen in women's basketball. I'm still processing it myself. This wasn't just revenge. This was a masterclass on how to completely outsmart and expose someone who tried to drag your reputation through the mud. Let's be clear, Plum didn't just lose. She got wiped off the court. Before we dive into this total dismantling, hit that like button if you're Team Caitlin all the way, because after seeing exactly what went down, there's no way you'll still be rooting for Plum.
Sore losers and you have sore winners, and Kelsey Plum is both.
We want to blow them out. We're a lot better than them.
We're watching for the league. We're really watching for Caitlin Clark. Everyone's going to be making more because of Caitlin Clark.
Caitlin Clark is the one bringing in the numbers.
Well, there's one.
Let's go back to where it all really started. This wasn't some random clash or petty drama. It ran much deeper. At its core, it was fueled by envy, subtle sabotage, and one player trying to dim the spotlight on the biggest star the WNBA has ever seen. The Spark, the WNBA All-Star Game, an event meant to celebrate unity and showcase women's basketball at its peak. But instead of a celebration, it turned into one of the most awkward, jealousy-charged moments in the sport's recent history. Around that time, players were standing together behind the "pay us what you owe us" movement, demanding fair compensation, and rightfully so. These athletes earn every dollar. However, this is where Kelsey Plum exposed her strategy and possibly made the worst calculated move of her career. During a press conference with cameras rolling and the entire basketball world watching, Plum decided to throw a thinly veiled jab at Caitlin Clark, all while avoiding the courage to say her name directly.
But 0 members of Team Clark were very present for that.
Or her actually making comments about Caitlin Clark's team not being at this meeting for the CBA.
She dropped a carefully crafted line, trying to paint Team Clark's players as if they weren't really involved. A clear attempt to undermine the league's ongoing pay negotiations and player activism. The audacity was staggering. She targeted the one player who has done more to elevate the WNBA's profile, revenue, and visibility than anyone in its 28-year history, attempting to frame her as self-absorbed and out of touch with her teammates. The move was so blatant, so calculated, and honestly so misguided that even casual observers could see right through it. What makes it even more infuriating? Clark wasn't even at the All-Star game. She was at home, dealing with her own recovery and personal circumstances. She had no obligation to participate in performative gestures just to prove her commitment to player advocacy.
Shot at Caitlin Clark during that whole thing about Team Clark wasn't very present for that.
To me, I thought that was a little dig at Caitlin. A lot of people definitely thought so.
Plum, she was taking a shot at Caitlin Clark's situation involving the "pay us what you owe."
Caitlin Clark has quite literally transformed the entire landscape of women's basketball, drawing in millions of new fans, boosting the sport's visibility, and making the WNBA financially stronger than ever. And yet, Kelsey Plum had the audacity to question her commitment. The disrespect was staggering, but what came next was even sweeter. The backlash was immediate and merciless. Just look at Sabrina. Ionescu's reaction during that press conference, the discomfort on her face, said it all as the weight of Plum's missteps sank in. Even analyst Stacey King didn't hold back, calling out how reckless it was to attack the league's crown jewel, and he wasn't wrong. The numbers tell the truth. Since Clark's arrival, TV ratings have soared, merchandise is flying off shelves, ticket prices are skyrocketing, and expansion fees have jumped from $50 million to $250 million almost overnight. She's the league's ultimate bargaining chip in salary talks, and Plum chose to publicly go after the WNBA's most valuable asset. But this is where Caitlin Clark proved she's not just the star on the court, she's a force that can't be shaken.
To say that Caitlin Clark didn't join in on the t-shirt discussion.
This week they wore t-shirts saying, making a statement, you better pay us. But instead of just leaving it at that, Kelsey Plum for LA had to take a dig at Caitlin Clark. Here she is.
The t-shirt, just United Front was determined this morning that we had a meeting for, and not to tattletale, but 0 members of Team Clark were very present.
Caitlin Clark isn't just a player, she's a master strategist operating on a level most people can't even see. While others are stuck on checkers, she's playing chess. Instead of firing off a sloppy press statement or diving into a social media feud, Clark made the ultimate power move. She stayed completely silent. She let the silence speak for her, dominating headlines without even stepping on the court, patiently waiting for the perfect moment to strike. And when that moment came, it hit like a wrecking ball. Shortly after the controversy, Clark announced a massive global deal with Nike, proving once again that top brands are eager to associate with her. While Kelsey Plum was busy trying to tear her down, Clark was busy expanding her empire. The final blow came when Clark noticed Plum posting photos from a Nike event, despite Plum being signed with Under Armour, Nike's rival. That's when Clark dropped the perfectly timed, razor-sharp comment that set the internet on fire. A subtle reminder that brands are lining up for her, while Plum's attempts to stay relevant barely registered. Clark's influence speaks louder than noise. She lets results do all the talking. Since that Instagram moment, Plum has gone silent, likely realizing she challenged someone operating on a completely different level. The same player who tried to paint Clark as self-centered ended up being outclassed by someone who understands that true power doesn't need to shout, it simply exists. But this isn't just a clash between two athletes. It's a bigger story about a few WNBA veterans attempting and failing to contain Clark's meteoric rise. Before she arrived, the league was struggling. Low ratings, empty arenas, minimal media coverage, and expansion fees that barely moved the needle. Games were played in half-empty venues, merchandise lagged, and profitability was a distant dream. Then Clark arrived, and everything changed. Ratings soared, jerseys flew off shelves, ticket prices climbed, media deals expanded, and expansion fees skyrocketed. Almost every positive development in the league today can be traced back to her impact, and yet, instead of celebrating that growth, some veterans responded with thinly veiled jealousy. Here's the truth they seem to miss. Clark's success benefits everyone. Higher viewership means better pay, more resources, and real leverage for the league. She's the catalyst they've been resisting all along. Through it all, Clark has proven she's more than just a phenomenal player. She's a leader who understands timing, influence, and the long game. She doesn't chase drama. She converts criticism into momentum. Fans see it, the numbers prove it, and history is being written right in front of our eyes.